Let's go. Let's go. You fucking beauty. You fucking beauty. I'm just going to... hang on. I'm just going to make sure that it's streaming live. If you're watching, leave a comment to make sure that this is going out to the world, please. Callum. Hello, Callum. We're cutting the head off the snake. We're cutting the head off the snake. It's so beautiful. We're going to fucking destroy communism, third worldism, jihadism. It's so beautiful. This is a great day for history. Let's fucking go. This is a great, great day for history. A beautiful day for history. I've been waiting for this day. They killed 50,000 people last month, and now now it's time for revenge. Now it's time for revenge. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. I'm going to share out the link. 1 second, guys. It's fucking happening. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. I'm monitoring the situation. I want Comedi's head on a fucking platter by the end of the weekend. You fucking beauty. God bless the United States. God bless the West. It's a beautiful day. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Said like a child that's never seen war. I went to the front lines in Ukraine. I've seen war. It's precisely because I've seen war and I've seen the suffering that the Third Worldist Alliance has wreaked on the world, bathing the world in blood, slaughtering the Ukrainians, slaughtering innocents across the world. That's why I want revenge. Revenge. Revenge against the Third Worldists. Revenge against the political left and the political jihadists who have tried to destroy the West. We want revenge. Fucking crush them. Give us revenge. Cut the head off the snake. This is a great day. It's a great day. It's a fucking great day. You fucking beauty. Sammy Gold is crying. Sammy Gold is crying, which is how you know this is a great day. Sammy Gold and all the fucking communists are crying. You fucking beauty. Cry. Cry more. It's a beautiful day. From the Caspian to the Gulf, Persia will be free. That's great. You fucking beauty. It's fucking beautiful. Woo! Woo! This is fucking awesome. This is fucking goated. It's fucking goated. Give us revenge. Well said, Mr. Wilders. Well said. All right, let's see the Iran situation monitor. God bless Donald Trump. God bless Trump. God bless Donald Trump. God bless the United States of America. Revenge for the 50,000 killed in January. Actually, I got to repost that. Revenge against BRICS. God bless Donald Trump. Fucking beautiful. The actual Persians are celebrating. This is beautiful. Suck shit. Suck shit, Hassan, you fucking Turkish cab driver. Suck shit. Go back to Turkey. Nobody cares. Fuck you. The West is the best. Fuck you. Fuck you, Turkish cab driver Hassan Piker. Go back to the third world. Let's fucking go. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. Suck shit, commies. Suck shit, commies. Suck shit, you Turkish fucking cab driver. Glorious day. All our enemies are fucking sad. Beautiful day. Let's go. God bless the United States of America. Beautiful. Well said. Revenge. Cuba next. Revenge. It's revenge for 50 years of war against the United States. Regime change. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Let's kill Khamenei. Beautiful. This is such a good speech. This is beautiful. Beautiful. This is so beautiful. What a beautiful speech by Donald Trump. A great man. I wish that I had voted for him. I wish that I had voted for him instead of Kamala Harris. What a beautiful man Donald Trump is. A great victory for Western civilization. So beautiful in so many ways. It's actually absolutely stunning. Cut the head off the snake.
A short time, heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
Apparently you couldn't hear the speech. I'm going to put up the speech
not for
back
now.
up.
We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our.
This is a beautiful day for peace and justice. Apparently, Pisco's sawing out. Let's go see Pisco. Pisco YouTube. Is he sawing out? Let's watch some of Pisco's soy. He's crying, apparently. Is Pisco crying? I think Pisco's crying. Pisco's crying. Oh my God.
Turn on our
what a beautiful day.
Avatar.
What a beautiful day. This is such a beautiful day. It literally could not get better. This is such a gorgeous day. It is literally going to go down as a total success. I already know it.
Some rumors, some important people are dead.
Is Pisco crying? I think he actually is crying. What should we watch? What should we watch? Who's got good coverage? Maybe go CNN. Let's see. CNN, CBS, maybe. They don't have it. Okay, I'll just put ABC.
Of American service members in Iraq, the regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East.
So gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's
as
beautiful.
well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels and international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon
Literally
to Yemen
beautiful.
And Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal. Something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
Beautiful.
That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil.
They just want.
But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades.
Trump is a great man of history.
They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland.
We're so back. God bless the
Just
USA.
imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication.
This is so
My
beautiful.
administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail.
This is a beautiful day.
To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or in the alternative, face certain death.
So powerful and based.
Lay down your arms.
Lay down your arms.
You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance.
This is such a beautiful day. This is such a beautiful day.
For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach.
Fucking based.
This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces.
God
May
bless
God
the United States of America.
The United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
What an amazing day. God
You've
bless
been
the United
listening
States.
to President Trump speaking from Mar-a-Lago about the U.S. joint strikes with Israel
Take
in
out
Tehran.
the head of the snake.
Those strikes occurring in the past 2 hours. If you're joining us, the president laying out the foundation of a possibly prolonged war in the region. Let's go to ABC's Martha Raddatz with reaction. Martha.
This is
That
so
was an extraordinary statement. It is clear we are not doing limited strikes. This could last. We do not know how long, but the U.S. is now at war with Iran.
so beautiful.
After 4 decades, the president said, reacting to everything that's happened from the hostages taken back in the 1970s, also leading up to the recent protests in Iran. Steve Ganyard joins us again. Steve, give us an idea. He also had a message, the president did, for those in Iran.
Yeah, Michelle, I think what's interesting here is that
This
the
is
initial
so
strikes that we
beautiful.
saw were cruise missiles. So because it's daylight,
We're monitoring the
we'll have
situation.
to
This
see
is
what
so
happened, but I
beautiful.
don't think that the U.S. would have put U.S. aircraft over Iran during daylight hours. Just makes it too easy for the Iranians to get a lucky shot here or there. So we'll need to watch where the targets were. We do know that many missile sites have been hit. It appears perhaps that one of the nuclear energy, the civil nuclear sites down in Bashir, down in the Persian Gulf may have been hit. Will be interesting to see if some of the naval bases around the Strait of Hormuz were hit. But the president made it very clear. This is a decapitation effort. It's a regime change effort. And the whole point here is for the Iranian people to rise up and to overthrow the theocracy that has run that country for decades.
ABC's Stephen Ganyard. We want to leave you with Ian Pannell's thoughts from Tel
Beautiful
Aviv.
day.
He's there. Ian, you're under a state of emergency, as well as all Israelis in that area waiting for retaliatory possible strikes.
Yeah, that's right. State of emergency declared. Looking around here, the streets are completely empty. People are hunkered down at home, fearing the worst. They've been through this before, but nobody knows how long this is going to go on. I think one of the most remarkable things in the president's statement was his encouragement to the Iranian people to rise up. In other words, this is an entirely maximalist strategy here. This isn't just about dealing with Iran's nuclear program, which was what the operation was last June. It's not just about dealing with the amount of enriched uranium it's got. This seems to be about regime change, and therein it doesn't seem to have a finite length. We don't know how long this will last, how you'll measure success. The regime certainly isn't going to go quietly, and I think,
we're cutting the head off the
and
snake.
Steve have said, I think we're in for the long haul.
ABC's Ian Pannell in Tel Aviv. We will be keeping in touch with you and keeping up on all the events that are taking place. We'll have a lot more on Good Morning America later this morning. I'm Michelle Franzen in New York.
God bless.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
This is such a good day.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo.
We've got live of the Jerusalem skyline, I think it is. We're going to put this up. Glory to the West. What a beautiful day, seriously.
Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky,
Minneapolis,
Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to
Naval
our world
activity
as
in
it
the
plays
Persian
out
Gulf.
in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming
US
program,
Abraham
only on
Lincoln.
ABC News Live, streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
I've learned some really hard truths the hard way.
This is such a good day.
Knox. I'm a mom, I'm a writer, and I am the girl who was accused of murder.
Imminent threats from the Iranian regime. He says Americans may be lost and we may have casualties. An Iranian official has told the Reuters news agency that Tehran is preparing for retaliation with the response
no military
to the crushing. It comes amid high tensions between Iran and the United States over Tehran's nuclear program. The Trump administration has been increasing pressure on Iranian leaders to secure a deal which would reduce the country's nuclear capabilities. Iran insists its nuclear program is peaceful.
to the members of the
Our Middle
Islamic
East correspondent
Revolutionary
Matthew
Guard.
Doran has more details from Israel.
This
The
is
first we
such a good
learned
day. I
of
can't even
this
believe it.
attack by Israel was when mobile phones across the country started screeching, telling people to ensure that they know where their closest public shelter was. And it was soon after that that the Israeli defense minister confirmed that these strikes were underway. It comes after weeks of simmering tensions between the US and Iran
This is
and
such a good day.
talks about curbing the future of Iran's nuclear ambitions there. It also is set against the backdrop of the largest US military build-up in the
Such a
Middle
good
East
day.
since
Such
the
a
Iraq
beautiful
War
day.
in the early 2000s. Reports are that there are explosions across the Iranian capital, Tehran, but also other cities, including Isfahan and Kermanshah. Some reports suggesting the targets are Iranian military assets and indeed Iranian officials. A similar set of circumstances
Members of the
as
Islamic
the last
Revolutionary
Israel-Iran
Guard,
war in
the
June
armed
last year.
forces,
That
and all of
12-day
the
conflict
police,
where
I
Israel
say tonight,
launched similar attacks against the Islamic regime. We know that when it comes to Donald Trump's position in all of this, he has been saying that he wanted to get a deal, but that sometimes
that
force
you must
was
lay
required.
down your
And there has been
weapons and
confirmation
have
that the
complete
US
immunity,
is now involved
or
in
in the
these
alternative,
strikes. That
face
attacks are being
certain
launched
death.
from the sky and
So,
from the
lay
sea.
down your
Likely a
arms.
reference
You
to the
will be
fact that
treated
there are
fairly
two
with
aircraft
total
carriers
immunity.
from the US Navy in this region, the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea and the USS Gerald Ford, which arrived near the Israeli port city of Haifa up near the Lebanon border just yesterday. How Iran will respond remains unclear at this stage, but we do know it has promised to meet any
Such a
attack
great
on
day.
its soil.
Finally, to the
with
great
Free
proud
Iran,
people of
bring
Iran,
back freedom
I say
to
tonight
Iran.
that the hour of your freedom is at hand.
Already, there has been the closure of
Stay
airspace in
sheltered.
countries such as Israel and Iraq. This situation could only continue to deteriorate.
Such a
That was
good
Matthew
day.
Doran reporting in Jerusalem there. I'm just going to bring in our America's editor, John Lyons, who's with me in the studio. John, you've got some breaking news coming through. Take us through what we know now.
Well, Mel, there are credible reports that one of the American or Israeli attacks has hit Engelab Square, which is right in the center of Tehran. What that's really interesting. That would be like hitting Jolimont in Melbourne or Hyde Park in Sydney. And there are various Engelab Square is like Parramatta Road. It's very built up. There's a lot of defence facilities there. So I think their primary targets will be the IRGC and Basiji militia facilities, headquarters, offices. The Israeli Defense Minister, Israel Katz, is warning of imminent drone and missile attacks on Israel after launching what they've called the preemptive strike on Israel. There are 3 explosions have been reported in downtown Tehran, according to Iranian media.
Such a great day.
The Fars news agency, the Iranian Fars, says it's received reports that several missiles have hit parts of the capital, Tehran. The Israelis are admitting or saying that the strikes are coordinated with the US. Interestingly, Mossad, Israel's secret intelligence service, has put out an address to Iranian citizens saying, "We are with you. Together we will return Iran to its glory days." That's according to Israel's Channel 12. I'm just giving a summary of all the news coming in from different places. And so we can see that the attacks are hitting right in the heart of Tehran.
All right, John Lyons, thanks very much. We're going to return to the Middle East now, where our Middle East correspondent, Matthew Doran, is joining us from Jerusalem. Matt, you're hearing sirens going off around you at the moment.
What a great day.
Not here in Jerusalem at the moment. We did get an advance warning
Kill
a
the
short time
Ayatollah.
ago, but we are seeing alerts coming through for sirens going off in northern part of Israel. So this is around the Haifa area, where one of the major cities, a port city up near the Lebanon border. That is where the USS Gerald Ford is stationed, just off the coast there. We are also currently, so I'm just getting them, they're all coming through as we're talking right now. We are also seeing them through the Golan Heights area and up towards the Lebanon border. So this is a fairly significant stretch right across that Lebanon-Israel border area. At this stage, no other sirens have gone off across the country. Everyone right across the country is being told to stay very close to shelters because that could begin any time soon. So we're waiting to see exactly what these sirens Israel going off mean, whether or not this is the full-scale Iranian response or something of a precursor. If we cast our minds back to June last year, the general approach from Iran was that it would often send swarms of drones ahead of any missiles there, but we have seen this alert coming through from the Israeli authorities that
overthrowing the
have detected
Ayatollahs,
missile
fucking
alerts
beautiful.
in particular. So that was 6 minutes ago.
When we finish, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This
Situation
will
where we
probably be
do
your
hear
only chance for
sirens here,
generations.
in
I hope the
Jerusalem
brave
as well.
people
It
of
appears
Iran
that
can
this
do it.
retaliation, this response from Iran has indeed started.
And so, Matt, just give us a bit of an idea of, I guess, what would be happening in northern Israel at the moment, where those sirens are going off. What are people thinking and feeling at the moment as they're getting these alerts?
So what happens is these alerts are pushed through on your phone. You get an advance warning, depending on where you are in the country, that can range anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. And the sirens themselves do kick off as that threat becomes more imminent. Sometimes in the past, early warnings have been issued for the entirety of Israel. And then as those missiles or projectiles get close to the country, the Israeli air defense systems are trying to calculate where they could be heading, and they sort of narrow the scope of any warnings that are issued to the population. Again, I think we haven't seen that alert come through here in Jerusalem. We must point out we also have not seen alerts issued for Tel Aviv, the major population center here in Israel, which is
what a beautiful day, my friends.
Target of missiles coming in from Iran or from the Houthis, for example, in Yemen, when they are firing missiles at the country in solidarity with Hamas and the people of Gaza before that ceasefire came into force in October. So we have not seen come through just yet. But then you start to hear physical signs, which are
one of the most disgusting regimes
areas
is about to be destroyed.
Hear them even if you are nowhere near your phone, but phones also start to screech at you and to seek shelter. A number of houses or buildings.
Got somebody in Israel. Hello from a bomb shelter.
More
Thanks for joining, man.
Post-Gulf
I hope you're
War
safe.
we're talking about in the early 90s. A lot of buildings that have been constructed after then do often have safe rooms, shelters within those buildings, apartment blocks, but a number of older buildings won't. So that is why you'll see people pouring into the streets and going to public shelters that are set up across the country and across city. Haifa is a really interesting place. It is a city that is a big university town. It is built to the side of the Carmel Mountain, and it has an underground funicular, which often gets used
cut the head of the snake
shelters for air raids as well. So send people into sort of underground public transport areas to do that. That's the same as what we see in Tel Aviv, with some of the people there being directed into public transport, underground public transport facilities in lieu of actual shelters. So that's what they're experiencing there at the moment. Just updating to whether or not those alerts have gone through anywhere else. No, it is still confined to that area.
For 3 years, my Ukrainian friends have cowered and
from the Golan Heights, the northern area.
1 second, everybody. I'm going to quickly go record a video.
To Haifa itself. So it is quite a contained area that is currently under.
Such a good day. Such a good day. Start dropping, drop weapons to the people of Iran. What's his? We need Gunther. Gunther. I'm going to ask Gunther to join me. I've sent a link to Gunther. I hope he can join us. Happy Ramadan. Happy Ramadan, Kameni. Third worldism is being crushed as we speak. Shh. It's always hard when these things happen because I'm trying to like bring in all the new information while also streaming at the same time. I feel like I have to sort of juggle everything. It's very difficult.
Here in Israel.
Former Middle East correspondent Ben Knight now, who's joining us from Melbourne. Hi there, Ben. So just recap for our audiences what we know so far, what has happened this evening in the last really hour or so.
Well, I'm coming up to speed with it as you are, but what we do know is that essentially the President of the United States has declared that the United States has begun major combat operations in Iran. That follows what were described as preemptive strikes by Israel. So this is a pattern that we saw as recently as June of last year. Iran, that follows what were described as going to be different. At that time in June,
This is so
the
goated.
United States and Israel made it clear that this was an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities, particularly the nuclear facilities that were deep underground. And at that time, it was the United States that essentially surprisingly or made a surprise attack on Iran, and at the time we were told had destroyed those nuclear capabilities. This time it appears to be broader, and the focus doesn't appear to be as clear. Certainly in the statement that we've heard from Donald Trump, there was no more guidance as to what is actually the goal of this particular operation. He said it was about Iran being an imminent threat to Israel, to the US allies in the region, to US troops. But other than that, there's no end game in sight. Is this about getting a better nuclear deal? Is this about destroying?
This is so goated. Destroy the regime. Destroy the regime. Kill Khamenei.
Which is something that has been thrown around by the White House and certainly thrown around by Israel.
Yes.
Whatever this is going to be, it is underway. How long it will last, of course, we don't know. But like I say, this is different to the 12-day war that we saw in June of last year. If for no other reason than Iran's retaliation is possibly going to be different and possibly more severe. And of course, that risks escalation. So you have Donald Trump, who of course has claimed to have ended 8 wars, has essentially started another one in the Middle East.
Started another
Ben, there's
one.
a couple of
The
points
Iranian regime was already
there
at war
that
with them.
I
Sorry,
want to
ABC,
ask you a little bit
progressive
more
cunts.
about. But just in relation to the US strikes that we saw last year, as you mentioned, Donald Trump claimed that the US had
so happy, man.
obliterated
I'm so happy.
Iran's
Oh yeah,
nuclear
actually, I'm gonna go
facilities
get
when they
the
dropped
American
those
flag. One second,
bunker
everybody.
busts.
This is such a beautiful day. I got to fix my mic 1 second. This is the flag that the third worlders fear. Third worlders fear this flag. Beautiful. God bless America. God bless the USA. Third worlders fear this flag. Third worlders fear this flag. Fuck BRICS. Fuck the Iranian regime. Fuck Russia. Fuck the CCP. Suffer. Fuck Maduro. Fuck communism. Fuck Ibrahim Traore. Fuck every third world shithole regime. The West is on top. The West is victorious. God bless the West. God bless. Maybe I'll try and hang this up. Hang on. God bless. We've got the American flag. That's beautiful. Can you see it? Can people see the American flag? That's beautiful. Nice. Nice. God bless. Fuck BRICS. Fuck BRICS. God bless the West. God bless the
Cluster bombs last year. So what does
Rubio
this action,
2028. We love
this
Rubio,
evening
man.
indicate about what
This
really
is so
happened
goated.
then?
Well, it's a mixed message, to say the least. And just imagine that you are a US citizen in the United States right now, and you are watching a president who campaigned
Shut the fuck up. The ABC
on
is
keeping the United
communist
States
and
out of
and
any more
fucking
foreign
shit.
interventions. Campaigned on keeping the United States out of any
Fuck
more of the
off, progressive
so-called
ABC
forever wars.
stooks.
Who has just commanded the biggest military build-up by the United States in the Middle East since 2003. You know, the Gulf War, the Iraq War that led to his promise and his campaign to keep America out of future wars. Imagine that you are an American in the United States at the moment who has just heard your president talk about this and trying to calibrate
Down with Castro.
What he's just said with what you
Down
just
with
mentioned.
Cuba. Fuck off, ABC
the
sucks.
case last June that we were told we had obliterated the Iran's nuclear program? Did we or did we not? Why are we going back in there now? And also what he said about Iran being an imminent threat to Israel, to American troops, to American allies. And when he was talking about that, he was throwing back to the hostage crises of the 1980s, 1979 and
Fuck off,
1981.
ABC
It's a
News
long
sucks.
way back to go to try to make the case for Iran being an imminent threat. He talked about
Fuck off,
Iranians
ABC.
chanting, death to America. That's been the case for decades and hasn't really led to anything. So if you're an American in America right now, listening to your president talking about having just launched major combat operations in Iran, you would be, I think, wondering what the justification is, because the case, at least from what we've heard the president say so far, is some distance, I would suggest, from being made.
Ben, you and I both reported from Iran and the United States. We were, in fact, in Iran together at the same time.
New situation monitoring website. Hang on.
With the young population in Iran.
Okay, we've got the monitoring of the situation here. USS Canberra. I'm glad. That's so beautiful that there's an American warship named after the Australian capital right there in the Persian Sea. So proud right now. I'll have to post that. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much to America for including us.
Internally.
as you say, it was only a matter of weeks ago that when there was one of the most recent uprisings in Iran, which as you know, they happen maybe once every couple of years, when those young people that you're talking about who desperately want change, who desperately want to become part of the wider world, who do not want to live under that regime and want all of the opportunities, economic, social, academic, whatever you can think of, they want those same opportunities. The pressure builds up, and they come out onto the streets, whether it's a spark like the deaths of Mahsa Amini or whatever it might be. Every couple of years, you get one of these uprisings, and they last for a week, they last for a couple of weeks before eventually they are put down. You and I have been in the middle of one of them. We've watched the other ones from afar. They happen. They never really last. But as you say, it's a matter of weeks since the most recent one, when Donald Trump, as you say, said, people of Iran, keep going, we will be behind you. We have your back. Essentially, if you keep this uprising going, the United States will be there to...
Holy shit, ABC News is actually complaining that the US president backed protesters who were massacred by the Iranian regime.
Now, it may be the case if, as we've seen, there are attacks on the regime, if indeed key figures of the regime are killed, major institutions of the regime are removed, and there is deep instability. It may be that people come onto the streets. In fact, I think you could say it's probably likely. But where would the trust be in the United States to follow through? Donald Trump has launched this military action. But he's also chaotic.
Ai Weiwei is backing. Wow, Ai Weiwei is backing the Iranian regime. What a shame.
It's time to end it, and all of a sudden we've come to a deal, or we've come to some agreement that he thinks would either be the one he was after, or might be something perhaps face-saving. It will be all over, and they would be left stranded again. So that will be interesting to watch.
Ben Knight, joining us there from Melbourne. Thanks so very much for your time and analysis this evening.
America right now, listening to your president talking about
ABC News is disgusting.
Major combat operations in Iran, you would be, I think, wondering what the justification is. Is some distance, I would suggest, from being made.
Ben, you and I both reported from Iran and the United States. We were in fact in Iran together at the same time during the so-called Green Revolution. I think the question for me is, with all of the firepower of the United States, two major aircraft carrier groups, the largest, and that means dozens of ships and scores of planes. So the most powerful military in the Middle East, Israel, and the most powerful military ever assembled, the United States, are both now hitting Iran with a pincer movement. Do you think this is the end of the regime in Iran, one way or the other?
Look, as you very well know, John, the Iranian regime is not just the Ayatollah Khamenei, and it's not just the clerics. As powerful as they are in controlling the elections and the
Holy shit, History Speaks is crying now as well.
In Iran, it is absolutely embedded in the upper echelons of that society. And so decapitating the Iranian regime does not change the regime. At least it doesn't do it easily. This is a totalitarian regime. It maintains control through fear and violence and brutality, and we know that. We've known that for a very, very long time. And if you are a young Iranian male in particular, one of the very few ways that you can get ahead is to embed yourself in that regime as a member of the paramilitary forces or the military forces or in the government itself. We know that it's a corrupt regime, and so the way that people inside the top levels of the government working down and down and down. The idea that you could actually completely restructure that is not likely. I mean, as I say, you can't just decapitate the regime and expect that
the people of Iran will come rushing back into the streets and be able to take government, because the government they control everything. They control the economy, they control imports, they control retail, they control the police, of course, they control the prisons. They pretty much control everything, and it's a self-perpetuating structure.
With the young population in Iran wanting freedom, as we know, more than 70% of Iranians were not born in 1979, the so-called Islamic Revolution, when the Ayatollahs took over. And we know young women in their 20s and 30s have been driving this protest. We know it's been brutally put down, but we know that 70% are not invested in the regime. What happens now internally? Will there be an uprising, do you think? You know, Donald Trump talked about we'll help you. Is this the opportunity now for millions of people to go to the streets and try to bring down the regime while it's trying to fend off Israel and the United States externally?
As you say, it was only a matter of weeks ago that when there was one of the most recent uprisings in Iran, which as you know, they happen maybe once every couple of years, when those young people that you're talking about, who desperately want change, who desperately want to become part of the wider world, who do not want to live under that regime and want all of the opportunities, economic, social, academic, whatever you can think of, they want those same opportunities. The pressure builds up, and they come out onto the streets, whether it's a spark like the deaths of Masa Amini or whatever it might be. Every couple of years you get one of these uprisings, and they last for a week, they last for a couple of weeks before eventually they are put down. You and I have been in the middle of one of them. We've watched the other ones from afar. They happen, they never really last. But as you say, it's a matter of weeks since the most recent one, when Donald Trump, as you say, said, people of Iran, keep going, we will be behind you. We have your back. Essentially, if you keep this uprising going, the United States will be there to look after you. And that never happened. But nothing happened, and that uprising itself was put down. Now, it may be the case if, as we've seen, there are attacks on the regime. If indeed, key figures of the regime are killed, major institutions of the regime are removed, and there is deep instability. It may be that people come onto the streets. In fact, I think you could say it's probably likely. But where would the trust be in the United States to follow through? For Donald Trump has launched this military action, but he's also chaotic. He's also someone who can change his mind on a whim. And if he decides that it's time to end it, and all of a sudden we've come to a deal, or we've come to some agreement that he thinks would either be the one he was after, or might be something perhaps face-saving, it will be all over, and they would be left stranded again. So that will be interesting to watch.
Ben Knight, joining us there from Melbourne. Thanks so very much for your time and analysis this evening. We'll no doubt be checking back in with you a little later on. We're going to bring in our Middle East correspondent, Matthew Doran, again now, who's in Jerusalem for us. Matt, you've just been saying that we've just been hearing sirens going off in Tel Aviv. What do we know about what's going on there?
Yeah, that's right. This is a second wave of alerts coming through at the moment. It is going through Tel Aviv and sort of central parts of Israel at the moment. And apologies, I'm just hearing myself back at the moment, so I'm just going to pull my earpiece out briefly.
Guys, give me 1 minute. I'm going to quickly get a drink of water. God bless America. God bless. So beautiful. Great day. Great day. Sorry, guys, I'm back. How's everything? Any news? Got 55 people watching live on YouTube. Thank you, guys. Leave a like on the YouTube video. Got 4,000 people in total on Twitter. Thank you so much, guys. Retweet and please share. Enjoy your Goy War, Drew. Yeah, I actually am. Thank you. I'm actually really enjoying it. This is fucking awesome. We're going to destroy the leftist Islamist alliance. It's actually beautiful. History Speaks apparently has retweeted me, so let's see. Apparently he's having a sook. You're a complete imbecile. You know, random meme propaganda videos represent Iranian public opinion. They want to be bombed. And for God's sake, Drew, they're not only Persians. Nearly half aren't Persians. Spend 20 minutes. Yeah, fuck off. Fuck off. Ah, he's a sook. He's just a sook. $60 people watching live on YouTube. Thank you, guys. Please leave a like if you're watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. We're on the way to 12,000 subscribers. This is a great day. A great day. We're crushing the anti-West alliance. We're crushing the West anti. We are crushing. One less ally for China. One less ally for the CCP. Great day. Could this even get better? I actually don't even know if it could get better. This is a great video. I love this video. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It actually could not get even better. Literally could not get better. If you're tuning in, thank you for tuning in. We've got 52 live streams on YouTube. We've got a couple hundred watching live on Twitter too. Please leave a like if you're watching. Nobody understands. Literally nobody understands. I'm so glad that they're taking out Khomeini during Ramadan. It's actually very funny. This is true, by the way. An American warship named after the Australian capital is in the Persian Gulf right now, helping kill the Khomeini regime. So proud as an Australian. It's just so beautiful. God bless. God bless. Guys, notice who is upset right now. It's just leftists and jihadists and retarded third worldists. That's literally the only people. Those are the only people who are upset right now. That means it's a good day.
People to go to the streets and try to bring down the regime while it's trying to fend off Israel and the United States externally.
As you say, it was
I actually can't wait to go to Iran. I can't wait to go to Iran when it's a free country.
Uprisings in Iran, which as you know, they happen maybe once every couple of years, when those young people that you're talking about who desperately want change, who desperately want to become part of the wider world, who do not want to live under that regime and want all of the opportunities, economic, social, academic, whatever you can think of, they want those same opportunities. The pressure builds up, and they come out onto the streets, whether it's a spark like the deaths of Masa Amini or whatever it might be. Every couple of
Opportunity now for millions of people to go to the streets and try to bring down the regime while it's trying to fend off Israel and the United States externally.
As you
Only the West has a right to defend itself. Only the West has a right to defend itself. Nobody else. They attacked on Mardi Gras Day. There are like lefties going like, they attacked on Mardi Gras Day. That's so fucking stupid. Who cares? This is such a good day.
Say it was only a matter of weeks ago that when there was one of the most recent uprisings in Iran, which as you know, they happen maybe once every couple of years, when those young people that you're talking about who desperately want change, who desperately want to become part of the wider world, who do not want to live under that regime and want all of the opportunities, economic, social, academic, whatever you can think of, they want those same opportunities. The pressure builds up, and they come out onto the streets, whether it's a spark like the deaths of Masa Amini or whatever it might be. Every couple of years, you get one of these uprisings, and they last for a week, they last for a couple of weeks before eventually they are put down. You and I have been in the middle of one of them. We've watched the other ones from afar. They happen, they never really last. But as you say, it's a matter of weeks since the most recent one, when Donald Trump, as you say, said, people of Iran, keep going, we will be behind you. We have your back, essentially. If you keep this uprising going, the United States will be there to look after you. And that never happened. But nothing happened, and that uprising itself was put down. Now, it may be the case if, as we've seen, there are attacks on the regime. If indeed, key figures of the regime are killed, major institutions of the regime are removed, and there is deep instability. It may be that people come onto the streets. In fact, I think you could say it's probably likely. But where would the trust be in the United States to follow through? For Donald Trump has launched this.
Oh, Gunther's here. Hang on. Gunther's here. One second. Hero.
Hi, Drew. How are you doing? Thanks for the invitation for the celebration.
What a beautiful day, my friend. What a beautiful day.
The sun is shining for freedom.
Absolutely. It's a great victory for Ukraine.
Have you seen the video of Trump?
Yes, I thought it was a great speech, one of the best speeches I've ever seen by a president.
Regime change is on, and this is amazing. It's now ex-MAGA, and he's the real president of America now.
Oh, it's amazing. Did you see as well, even in the past week, Elon has come out in support of Ukraine. They're shutting down all the Russian drones with SpaceX. And then suddenly they're crushing the Iranian regime now, and they're full on supporting regime change. It is a beautiful victory for the freedom fighters of the West.
Absolutely. Now Iran must fall, and then the Europeans must liberate Crimea. It's now time for a joint strike of Ukraine and the Europeans and all allies to liberate Crimea fully.
Absolutely. It's so beautiful. So we're going to take out the Iranian regime, and then we're going to take out the Russian regime.
Exactly. And then we will have ex-Russia. And that's, I think, our common aim, to end this terror regime of the Russians. And with the key ally now, with the Iranians gone, obliterated. It was really very interesting video. I think you have to show it to your viewers, and the whole video, the whole 8 minutes. Trump has said he will totally destroy the Iranian regime. This was a unique speech, actually. And if he does it now, if he follows through, the Iranian terror regime, 47 years, will be gone. And with it, Russia has lost its last big ally in the Middle East. And really, I think it is the moment for victory for the West. In this year, 2026, we will liberate all of Ukraine, including Crimea. It's technically, militarily possible. Now we need to give the green light to the Ukrainians to do it, provide them the money, and it will happen.
I think this is the century of the West, Gunther. It's the century of the West. They said it was going to be the Chinese century, but it's going to be the century of the West.
The Chinese are fucked.
They're fucked. They're completely fucked.
Yes. You know, they get so much of the oil of Iran, and it's the same like with Venezuela. They will get not a single barrel from Iran anymore in the future.
Oh, absolutely. What a beautiful vision. What an absolute beautiful vision. I can't believe it. Imagine when we see the Iranian people victorious in Tehran Square. Will you go to Iran to celebrate freedom?
Absolutely. Tomorrow we have a big demonstration already in Vienna to celebrate freedom for Iran, and to also, this is very important because we see also some people in the American and European left to criticize the regime change, and there will be a lot of demonstrations against America again. Be sure about it, like in the Iraq war. But we must be on the streets and we must be on the social media in order to defend this intervention for freedom. It's a liberation war, and the Iranian public opinion is 100% behind it. And we must make that clear in the Australian and the American and the European public, because if we leave the street to the Palestinian left-wingers again, this is absolutely wrong. We must dominate the streets of the free world.
We must dominate the streets. We need to clear out the communists from the streets and the third worlders from the streets, and we have to dominate the streets for the West.
Absolutely. And it's great that you're doing it. You have such a great following, and this celebration, I'm so happy the whole morning already. I tweeted, I couldn't believe it to the last moment, because I'm a skeptic on Trump. I really didn't believe it that he will use these enormous resources of American fiscal, military, industrial complex to liberate the people. But he has decided to do it, and it's the right thing to do. And he will enter into history as the great liberator of Iran, on the same level like George Bush has liberated Iraq. And this is unique and very good. And I'm very happy for this day. And thanks for the celebration you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Gunther. I hope that maybe we can meet up in Iran. Who knows? It could even be next month. I hope we can celebrate together in Tehran. With our
Look, realistically, it takes some weeks to take down the regime. So I wouldn't bet on April. But you have seen in the case of Iraq, it took about 6 weeks to defeat Saddam Hussein. So a similar timeline has to be expected, because it's also necessary that the Iranians do the hard and dirty and complicated work of the real regime change in the streets of Tehran and Isfahan and Abdan and all the other great cities in Iran, because they have to attack now the institutions of their state and take out the revolutionary guards and make the real regime change, because America and Israel will only do the big stuff, basically destroying the revolutionary guards and the infrastructure of the terror state. But the real revolution has to happen from Balochistan to Kurdistan to the Azeri areas, every region. Yes, exactly. This is what's going to happen. So it will take some weeks, but the moment Iran is free, I think we can schedule a visit in the summer.
Oh, it'd be beautiful. Let's hope that we can. Let's pray and hope to God that we can schedule a visit for the summer for Iran and celebrate in freedom. It will be so beautiful. And I think it's time for the West to start giving the people of Iran weapons. They need to be flying in crates of ammunition and guns straight away and giving them to the protesters in the streets about Iran.
I think it's also necessary that all the Iranians who live in America and in Europe, many of them who are in the fighting age, will need to take similar like the Albanians did it in the 90s, go back via Iraq or other areas in the region, and really also volunteer to take the regime down. And they should be armed and they should be also supplied. And this is one of the key parameters to make this happening, because it's not easy. The military entrenchment of this regime, they are extremely brutal, and they are ready for the ultimate violence as well. And they are a religious regime, so they will not go down without a fight. So we have to be clear that this is a very big operation. We have to respect the dimension of this historic action which is now taken. And we have to understand it's complicated, but it's extremely important to make it a success. And it will be a success in the coming months. And prepare for a long struggle, but for the victory to come. And as I say already, what is necessary is a pincer movement as well, to sap the resources of the Chinese and of the Russians, because at the same time, when the Americans are now entering in a kind of huge movement into Iran, we must come and support Ukraine for the liberation of Donbass and Crimea, because this will divide the resources of Russia, and it will be ultimately leading to the downfall of Putin. And then we have won.
Absolutely, it's a double pincer movement. We take out the Iranian regime, then we move into the Donbass, we liberate all of Ukraine, and then the CCP will have to understand they have no ability to take Taiwan. They will have to stand down. We have to send them a clear message. This is a clear message to Xi Jinping.
Exactly, and there will be also democracy in China. This is the only way for the Chinese, and there can be friendly relations with China in the future once they are a democracy and communism is finished. And it's one of the three big disasters of the 20th century: the Iranian Revolution of '79, the Chinese takeover of South China and Free China in '49, and of course the October Revolution of 1917. And one by one, in 2026, we will take all these three disasters of the 20th century and clear them up. And we start with Iran, and then it will be Russia, and China also must be freed.
Yes. Wow. We are so close to seeing total victory, Gunther. We're so close to seeing total Western victory.
True. It's great you invite me. Let's celebrate together in the coming days. Thanks for having me on your show. And let's hope the American soldiers who are putting themselves in harm's way, they are successful now, and that there will be a minimum of American and Israeli casualties also in the civilian field, and also that the Iranians will be liberated in the coming months. And it has started today, a historic day. And thanks for inviting me to celebrate it with you.
God bless, my friend. God bless, my friend.
For
We're going to
victory.
talk very soon. We'll do a full victory podcast hopefully very soon. God bless you, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. All the best for freedom, victory.
God bless, brother.
Bye from
Freedom
Vienna.
and victory, Western civilization. Thank you, brother.
Bye.
God bless. What a great day this is. What a great day this is. Gunther is a great man. Gunther's a great man. Wow, what a beautiful thing. God bless the US Navy. God bless the US Navy. It's actually powerful. I want everybody to see this tweet. It's so funny. Hang on. I'm going to put this on. Baseball to Americans is what bombing Muslim countries during Ramadan is to Israel. Fucking must be spewing. What a great day. What a great day. It could not be better. Could not be better. What a great day. I just say, fuck CJ, he's a cunt. He's a retarded Islamist apologist cunt. Lions. Literally Lions. What a day. We love Marco Rubio. What a man. Shugs it out. I know it's sad, but it's a war, man. It's a war. They're going to overthrow the regime. Relax. They reckon we're gonna lose a carrier. So true. So true. Actually, fucking psycho take by Milo. Fucking psycho take. The midterms are lost. Trust the fucking plan. Just trust the plan. Seriously, trust the plan. Trust the fucking plan. He knows what he's doing. Is this China's best chance? No, it's not. How? What the fuck? What does it even mean? Is this China's best chance? Retarded vague posting. I like that guy. Come on. I like Daniel, but that's stupid. That's stupid. Stop panicking. Stop panicking. It's fine. Everybody needs to fucking relax. Stop panicking. It's literally chill as fuck. I'm just going to keep posting lion images to all these seething leftists. It's actually so funny. The American population is also pacified. Okay, based. Seriously, these guys are the communists are so upset. They think, why can't there be a Vietnam protest movement? Sorry, communism is losing. You must be fucking spewing. Why is it not letting me post these GIFs? It's not fair. Oh my God. Milo has completely lost his fucking brain. I need to just keep posting these fucking lion images. The best case situation. Every self-mythologizing Pentagon fuckhead, every unctuous little CIA freak, every State Department serial killer is off his chain. Based. Fucking based. Let's go. Let's fucking go. It's not letting me post these beautiful GIFs. It's not fair. I like to see the West victorious. All these seething, self-hating freaks. No, you should want the West to win. Don't fucking panic. Trust the plan. Operation Midnight Magacock. Oh my god, these third worlders freaks are so funny.
ضربوا البحرين يا شباب، ضربوا القاعدة الأمريكية لإيران ضربتهم.
Some US assets have been apparently packed in Bahrain.
والبحرين يا
That's just part of
شباب
the problem.
ضربوها.
Unfortunately, we just have to cope with that. I mean, it's just, this is war. You're gonna lose some stuff, but overall we're gonna win. We're gonna win overall. It's fine. We're ultimately going to win overall. That's the reality. We're going to lose some. We're going to sadly lose something, but we're going to win overall. We are crushing third worldism.
People you've been stealing, now it's time for dealing. Bomb Iran, bomb, 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 bomb Iran.
انفجار و همراه با دود و بوی باروت رو قشنگ میتونه حس کنید. مثل جنگ
Such a good day. Such a good day. I've got a message from my friend, Ollie. Hello, Ollie. How you going? Thank you for tuning into the stream. Sometimes I get too distracted with the news that's coming in and I forget to talk, but you're right. I need to talk more. I need to talk more. Very well said. Very well said. American Wrath by Index. I like Shugs are dead, but this is just a shill account right now. It's very sad. Well, God bless you, Lindsey Graham. God bless you. God bless Donald Trump as well. Trust the fucking plan. Thomas Massey shooting copious amounts of HRT and stabbing a Trump voodoo doll groper. Let's see ABC News. Let's see the latest.
This is a country that still remembers the Iraq War and the enormous loss of blood and treasure that took place. The same in Afghanistan. And will it be prepared for a president who is at the moment unpopular? He's got low approval ratings, as some have said, Herbert Hoover in the depths of the United States Depression.
ABC has such shills because Trump's approval rating is exactly where Biden's approval rating was this time during his term.
Has failed to make the case convincingly to the US people that the threat from Iran is imminent. And let's face it, that's something that's been talked about for many, many years. For years, Benjamin Netanyahu has been warning that Iran was on the verge of creating nuclear material that would allow it to create a nuclear bomb. We've heard the same thing from the United States last week. And of course, we all know that 7 or 8 months ago, the United States claimed to have obliterated the Iranian nuclear weapons program. So if Donald Trump is unable to have successfully made the case that this is a war that needed to happen to protect the United States, to protect the United States,
God bless the United States. God bless Donald Trump.
And US service people die, that is probably going to be the biggest challenge he's faced in either of his 2 terms as president, I would suggest.
All right, Ben, thanks very much for that. A couple of other breaking news to bring you. The shot there of Jerusalem, if we can take a look at it. The Iron Dome for Israel is working at the moment. Incoming missiles of some sort are being shot down. There's pops heard on this, which is effectively as the defense missiles go up into the air and target the incoming Iranian missiles. Very sporadic at this stage. A couple of other lines to bring you. Bahrain says that the headquarters.
Watch this, guys. This is so important.
You asked me if I was in the meth business or the money business. Neither. I'm in the empire business.
Grab the tape recorder, JDC, just to hear the screams. Got my rusty blade, all the same, just to make you bleed. I'm a cop, killer, big driller. I was made by Bank Miller, black and white. You see the.
You asked me their business.
Grab the tape recorder, JDC, just to hear the screams. Got my rusty blade, all the same, just to make you bleed. I'm a cop, killer, big driller. I was made by Bank Miller, black and white. You see.
Let's see what Jackson Hinkle's saying. What's a good account to follow? Ozint, maybe Ozint. Let's see. Iranian state media announced that all US bases and interests in the Middle East are a target. We already knew that. They're going to do that anyway. Who cares? Iranian ballistic missile interceptions reported over the city of Abu Dhabi. That's crazy, to be honest. Damn. That is pretty crazy, I have to say. Explosions reported in Qatar, Bahrain, the UAE. Look, it's on. It's all on, but it doesn't matter. It's just unfortunately part of it all. You know, it's a war. You've got to destroy the Iranian regime. It's going to happen. The problem is that I don't even know what we should be following right now. Joint US-Israeli operation, Trump called for regime change. Opening waves of strikes have been characterized as assassination strikes, confirming early reports of decapitation strikes. Officials have said this will be a multi-day campaign. Israel to focus on military targets, launches, etc., while US remit is to target decision-makers, large service combatants, hardened bunkers. 30 to 70 ballistic miles fired from Iran into Israel. Air defense working at the time of writing. No confirmed deaths or casualties among principal or senior Iranian decision-makers at the time of writing, but unconfirmed reports on the deaths of senior decision-makers have trickled in. Reports from state media and Western media outlets citing sources close to the matter say that both the Iranian president and supreme leader remain safe and alive. Let's see. Iranian monitoring the situation. US Tomahawk barrage hits Iranian naval bases at Tehran. US launched a barrage of Tomahawk missiles targeting numerous Iranian naval bases on the southern coast and military targets in Tehran. Let's see that. War Monitor 3. Large explosions reported in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Damn, this is pretty crazy. US Air Force has struck the Iranian IRGC naval base at Asaluye. Iranian ballistic missiles targeted the Al Salam air base in Kuwait. Israel has mobilized 70,000 reservists for the war against Iran. Trump calls for regime change. We knew that. Let's see. US-Israeli airstrikes hit Iranian positions in Dezful. Let's see if we can see on the map where this is. Okay, so that's Dezful there. Israeli submarine departs Haifa at full throttle. I saw that on 5 minutes ago on Twitter. New Iranian missile barrage targets northern Israel. Damn, it's all fucking on right now. Damn, this is fucking crazy. I wish I had the Palantir situation monitor thing. I really wish, man. Iranian strike hits US 5th Fleet Bahrain. Explosions in Kuwait, Jordan, UAE. Damn. Iranian ballistic missile intercepted over Abu Dhabi. Saw that. Missile attack hits PMF headquarters in Babul, Iraq. Wow, it's actually all on right now. Live. Let's see. Missile attack hits US 5th Fleet Service Center, Bahrain. So we knew that already. We already knew that. Got the USS Mischa, Canberra, Tulsa, Michael Murphy, Santa Barbara. IRGC base struck in Minab, Iran. US strikes Iranian naval bases on the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Explosions reported in Bandar Abbas. It's all on. It's all on here. We've got US-Israeli fighter jets struck military targets in Tabriz, Bushehr, Isfahan, Kermanshah. Multiple planes detected in Iranian airspace. Yeah, so they don't even have air defenses right now, which is beautiful. Israeli Air Force strikes military targets in western Iran. Strikes hit Qom, Esfahan, and Khurramabad in Iran. Qom is there. Israeli cruise missiles pass over Iraq from Syria. Tehran. A lot of stuff is happening right now. We're monitoring the fucking situation. So that's the latest. Western Iran strikes. Is Iran doing a budget Samson option? I think they're trying. They're trying to attack everybody in the Middle East, but they're fucking retarded. IRGC is so stupid. Are they trying to get the entire Middle East, US to invade them? Yeah, it seems that way. Looks like they've got their own like shitty version of Samson option or whatever, and they're just like striking Riyadh and all this stuff. Seems like they're emptying out their silos. Yes. We need True Power for president of Iran. So true. Long live Palantir. Well said, my friend. Well said. Beautiful. I wish I had the Palantir situation monitor right now. It'd be so good. US warplanes over Daraa, Syria for third wave strikes on Iran. Wow. It's just on and on and on. USS Roosevelt is in the Eastern Mediterranean. Let's see what Kalshi's saying. Let's see. Ali Khamenei out as supreme leader, 41% before April 1. Damn. Big jump. So this morning, wow. So, wow. 70% chance that Khamenei is no longer leader by September. Almost, 64% chance. All up 20% this morning. That's crazy. Okay, let's see any latest. Israeli Air Force is conducting mass strikes on Iranian military targets in the west of the country right now. Osin Defender, have they got anything? Damn. It's all on.
But they probably even learned this lesson earlier because they didn't bother justifying Venezuela. They did not bother justifying Iran.
People are saying they struck the whole GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council. My friend is stuck in the basement of his hotel in Qatar. Yeah, it's all on. This guy's always funny. Large number of commercial aircraft are currently stuck in the air as Iranian ballistic missiles strike multiple Gulf states. That's sad. That's unfortunate. Crypto course grifters in Dubai right now. You have to wonder if the Ayatollah is already dead. This is full-blown regime change, and I'm sure Mossad knows where he was hiding.
Bomb, bomb, Iran. Bomb, bomb, bomb.
UK MTO has advised mariners to be aware of significant military action in the Arabian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, North Arabian Sea, and Strait of Hormuz. I need more information.
به خصوص در منطقه
Okay, let's see BBC.
هدف تغییر رژیم گویی
Iranian airspace tracker right now. Everything's down in Iran. Will the Iranian regime fall before 2027? 53%. These are all the people who were killed by the Iranian regime last month. You can just see all their faces. All of these people were confirmed killed by the Iranian regime. Shot with war bullets during protests in Isfahan, hit in the shoulder area. Father of two daughters shot directly by government suppression forces during people's protests at Kalantari Square. Chased and assaulted with cold weapons and shot and killed with bullets minutes later. She was one of the victims of violence that occurred against citizens during those days. Let's see War Monitor. Al Jazeera live updates page, they're saying. I hate Al Jazeera, but let's just see. Actually, I'll go on YouTube.
That the US was involved in stupid foreign wars, that neocons were sending children to fight wars that they themselves wouldn't fight. And of course, famously, he said that if you voted for Kamala Harris, you were voting for World War III. And as we're hearing news of attacks in Bahrain, in Qatar, and elsewhere in the region, there are people that are saying Donald Trump has ignited a small regional war, and they are deeply concerned, all done under the title of Operation Epic Fury. Remember, this is a man who just over 2 weeks ago launched the Board of Peace in the United States, saying that this would be a force for good, working alongside the United Nations. His own vice president in early January said that there was no intention of regime change in Iran. What they wanted to do was limit their nuclear ambitions, to stop them pursuing a nuclear weapon. And of course, we saw Operation Midnight Hammer in June, and the White House still has this on the website, that Iran's nuclear program was obliterated at that point. Now, we know that Donald Trump has come under pressure from Benjamin Netanyahu to take action against Iran. He has consistently pushed the idea that Iran was just weeks away from nuclear weapons.
Okay, this is Abu Dhabi just before. Wow. Apparently this is Abu Dhabi. This is Abu Dhabi right now, the UAE.
Some missiles launching here in Abu Dhabi. Big shit.
Wow, it's all on.
Oh my God, wow. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay, okay.
Wow, so this was an Iranian ballistic missile slamming into the headquarters of the US Navy's 5th Fleet at Bahrain. Look, it's horrible. It's horrible. I hate to see it. I hate to see it. This is unfortunately the reality of war. The West will win. They will revenge its attack.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
They will revenge its attack.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
As of yet, we have not seen any Iranian response out of rhetoric promising retaliation. Well, I did just see that Bahraini attack, but that is limited. So they're attacking US allies in the region. Yeah, it is attack that they're hitting. It is crazy that they're hitting the UAE as well. Yeah, Angelica is saying that it's actually a good thing that China's main oil importer, one of China's main oil importers, is getting smashed. Yeah, it's actually secret 5D chess. I can't wait to go to a free Iran. I'm going to celebrate. It's going to be beautiful. Cry more Islamo-communists. Let's see the latest. Qatar repels missile attacks and suspends air traffic. Qatar intercepted all incoming missiles before they reached the country's territory. Air raid sirens at Palmachim base north of Ashdod, Israel. Israeli army launches attacks in western Iran. Iran declares martial law, deploys Basij forces nationwide. Nothing new. Fuck off, Dean Withers, retard. Just goes to show that even the so-called moderate leftists now have to sound like communists when it comes to the Middle East. This is true. It's literally true. All the retarded right-wingers who don't have the guts to talk about mass demographic replacement try to use isolationist slop posting, no new wars, to posture as populists. Newsflash retards. The main reason people voted for Trump was because they didn't want white people to become a minority in the United States. The isolationist slop is just a sideshow. Yep, no one cares. Literally no one cares. Interventionist foreign policy and stop mass demographic replacement. That's the best. That's the hallmark of the new right, okay? Not the isolationist slop. The isolationist slop, no new war stuff is literally just cope. It's literally just cope. Literally just cope. It is literally not important at all. It's true. This is the Ian Carroll slot merchant right. They cry about ICE and cry about efforts to end mass migration while trying to posture as brave anti-establishment truth tellers by shilling for shithole third world regimes that hate the West. Fuck them. Literally just fuck them. Dave Smith. Hang on, Dave Smith. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that's literally Dave Smith. That's literally Dave Smith, okay? It's Marta Made. It's Daryl Cooper, Dave Smith. I'm going to make a... Dave Smith, and then who else? It's Ian Carroll, Dave Smith. Who's the other retard that they always do? So I'll just put Sneaker in there because he's got the same thing. This is actually a great post. I've actually written a beautiful post here. This is the slop wing of the right. It's Sneeko, it's Dave Smith, it's Ian Carroll, it's Marta Maid. ICE is going too far. Demographic replacement levels of mass migration don't matter. We voted no new wars. This is the retard slop wing of the populist right, the ones with no guts to talk about mass demographic replacement. So they try to capture populist energy with war and terror era libtard posting, bush lied, people died, etc., etc. Just absolute retards. They don't understand that the defining feature of the new right is not isolationism, never will be isolationism. US intervention to assert Western power and victory over third world shithole dictatorships that hate us. Good thing, actually. The only true issue that matters on the right is stopping mass migration. Don't let these slop tards distract you with retarded JQ, isolationist, libtard, foreign policy crying. No crying in the casino. Every time support Tibet, free religion. Thank you, King. Free Tibet. We love it. Thank you, Jempen. Word on the street is there a bounty on my head in Sydney. Myron Gaines is a retard. Let's see the latest.
And parts of Iran, no doubt about that. But all of this chaos that we're now seeing in the last few hours, all of the closing of airspace, etc., actually, in a way, for the IRGC and the Iranian leadership, they will see this as not a bad thing. If they can sustain this for some days or weeks, world economic chaos, then they will see that inside Tehran as a way of trying to put leverage on the Americans to stop this. So Iran will be trying to make these calculations as to, they will think all of this closure of airspace, it's crippling the Middle East economy, airspace, etc. Iran will see this as some sort of victory amongst the chaos.
John, I want to bring in Mehran Kamrava. He is a professor of government at Georgetown University in Qatar. He joins us now from Doha. Mehran, hi there. What's been happening where you are this evening?
Well, we hear loud explosions, and every once in a while on our mobile phones, we've been getting emergency messages from the authorities here. Obviously, the Iranians are staying true to their word. They're hitting the U.S. military base here, which is Al Udeid, probably the largest in the Middle East. And they've also hit Abu Dhabi and Bahrain.
Drew, aren't you concerned about the munitions expenditure of the US will deplete stockpiles that will better use on China? No, that's not going to happen. China is not ready. China is not ready to attack Taiwan.
Those countries for this,
Xi purged like the top leader of the PLA literally last month. They're not ready.
Over the last couple of days, satellite images have shown that the Al Udeid American military base here in Qatar has been extremely well prepared with Patriot missile defense missile batteries. And also last night, there were reports that many American airplanes moved out of the Al Udeid base. The Iranians have been warning both directly to the authorities and indirectly through the media for some time that they're going to hit American targets in the region. So one would assume that the American military bases across the Persian Gulf have taken the appropriate measures to defend themselves. Nonetheless, we've seen major smoke plumes in places like Abu Dhabi and Manama.
Mehran, we've just heard from the state news agency there, which says that one person has died in Abu Dhabi after the UAE intercepted Iranian missiles. The statement from the news agency goes on to say that this attack is a flagrant violation of national sovereignty and international law, and the UAE reserves its
rank
full
the three
right
far-right
to
wing Muslims from best to worst. Mind games,
this
irritate Sneeko. They're all
escalation. How much
retarded,
fear
but
is there in the
Sneeko,
region
I
at
think,
the
is the worst
moment?
there.
Well, this is what everyone has been fearing. Everyone's worst night.
Drew, despite your many criticisms of Pakistan, I hope you stand with them against Taliban terrorists. I guess so. Yeah, I guess if it's Taliban versus Pakistan, I support Pakistan. But I don't like supporting
any
Pakistan.
American
Really.
attack on Iran would not be able to be possible without coordination from American military targets across the region, American military bases across the region, and they've been saying that they will hit. No one really expected that the Iranians would cross that red line despite repeated warnings. And we saw last June when the Iranians hit Al Udeid, there was a sense of absolute shock in the region. This time around, there isn't the sense of shock that we had last time. But what there is surprise about is that the Iranian attacks have been so widespread and so disparate in terms of scope. Everything from Kuwait up in the northern coast of the Persian Gulf, all the way down to Abu Dhabi now.
Qatar's defense minister says that it has downed all missiles that were targeting their country. The wider impact as well of this, Mehran, is absolutely enormous. Global airlines have suspended flights across the Middle East after these strikes were launched. There's this huge gaping hole in airspace across the Middle East. Now, the economic impacts just in this short term are mammoth, aren't they?
Absolutely. Let's not forget that here in Qatar, something like 85% of the population is made up of expatriates. Same thing in places like Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And if expatriates leave because of fear, then it's going to have major economic repercussions, not just here in the Persian Gulf region, but globally. As you say, I, for example, am quite concerned about the safety of my family. I live about 30 kilometers away from the American base here, and I can hear the explosions. And imagine I study this sort of thing and I study and teach it. Now, those who are not in the business of studying warfare and conflict, I imagine there's tremendous fear and anxiety among large swaths, not just of the expatriate population, but of the local population as well. My wife, I should add, just took an Uber, and as she was on her way, the Uber driver said they were told they need to go home. So this cuts across different economic strata of society.
The makeup of Iran, we've seen lots of things play out over the past few years. I mean, obviously, this goes way, way back in history, some 37 years that Khamenei has reigned as the supreme leader in Iran. Do you think, Mehran, that what the US and Israel want is a civil uprising?
Well, there's no doubt. In fact, for the second time now, President Trump has sent a social media message encouraging Iranians to take charge and to overthrow their institutions, their political institutions. And of course, we just had the long statement that was televised by Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, and he said the same thing. Now, the question is whether so-called regime change is a feasible objective, and whether or not, even if the Americans and the Israelis were successful in killing the person of the supreme leader Khamenei, whether the Islamic Republic itself would collapse. That's a question that I don't think anyone can answer definitively. But all objective indications are, for the time being at least, that the institutional strength of the Islamic Republic remains robust, and that even if its leadership is quote unquote decapitated, the government itself would not necessarily fall.
Thank you so much for joining us on the ABC News channel, Mehran Kamrava, who's there in Doha. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
The Israeli military, John Lyons is still here with me in the studio. The Israeli military has been giving a news conference or talking to reporters in the last few minutes. And what's come out of that, one of the lines, we hope to call up 70,000 reservists in coming days, most aerial defense forces. That tells you that this is not going to be over quickly. 70,000 reservists. And you'll remember reservists were called up to go and fight and defend in Gaza and the surrounding areas. And the EU has issued a statement, Callas there, saying non-essential EU personnel are being withdrawn from the region, and they have all of their assets in the Middle East on high alert in the Red Sea, stands ready to help keep the maritime corridor open. But he calls the situation there perilous, as several countries in the Middle East report missiles fired at them. Kuwait's military said it dealt with the missiles in its airspace, but we know some have landed. Let's recap, bring you right up to date with what has happened over the past few hours. Israel and the US launched these airstrikes against Iran. Israeli Defense Minister has described the attacks as preemptive, and US President Donald Trump then released a statement on Truth Social saying that his administration's objective in striking Iran is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime. He says Americans may be lost and we may have casualties.
We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world. I do not make this statement lightly. The Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission.
So that was President Trump speaking a couple of hours ago. An Iranian official told the Reuters news agency that Tehran was preparing for retaliation. It has now retaliated, sending missiles into several Middle Eastern countries. Well, that was the sound in Tel Aviv earlier on. It was replicated in several...
Someone gave me some money. Iran has a right to defend itself. Iran has no right to defend itself. Israel has a right to defend itself. America has a right to defend itself. The West has a right to defend itself.
parts of Israel, including Jerusalem, where 3 or 4 times the air raid sirens were blaring. Officials saying that missiles had been launched in their direction from Iran. Israel's Iron Dome defense system was intercepting those projectiles, and we've had no reports so far of whether any hit their potential targets. State media from the United Arab Emirates say they have also intercepted several missiles, and Jordan's military has just said in the last few minutes that it has downed 2 ballistic missiles that were fired towards its country. Explosions heard as well in the capital of Bahrain. The United States Navy's 5th Fleet is based there. Meantime, the Israeli military says it's currently conducting what it calls large-scale attacks on a series of military targets in western Iran. Of course, you'll know it comes amid high tensions between Iran and the United States over Tehran's nuclear program. The Trump administration has been increasing pressure on Iranian leaders to secure a deal that would reduce the country's nuclear capabilities. Iran insists its nuclear program is peaceful. John Lyons with me here still in the studio. John, I gather you've got some more news for us.
Well, yes, Lorna. The war so far, it's only a few hours old, looks like this. Israel and the United States are hitting what appears to be a list of targets. They've gone through one by one. They're hitting central Tehran, Engelab, which is a major government area, and they're hitting a lot of cities around the country. But they appear to be going through a list of targets that they've had for a long time. That's not a surprise. In contrast, the Iranians, in retaliation, appear not to be targeting Israel because I think they realise it's almost impenetrable, but they appear to be spraying missiles around various parts of the region. And we know that there have been explosions heard in Jerusalem and Amman, not missiles hitting those cities, but probably Iron Dome and air defence missiles making the huge noise. We've also heard new information, new reports coming in. There's been a new explosion heard in Bahrain. There's been explosions reported in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, which is ominous, given the history of Shia Iran and Sunni Saudi Arabia. That's very ominous. The other ominous thing is the Iranians are targeting the US Fifth Fleet, which seems to be an attempt to try to shut off the Strait of Hormuz. That's the US base from which the US keeps that Strait of Hormuz, through which much of the world's oil flows. There's been multiple explosions heard in Doha, more explosions in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And this is really interesting. This is new from AFP, is an airstrike has hit an Iraqi base which hosts pro-Iran militia. That's the Jufa al-Sukkur base in southern Iraq, hosts the powerful pro-Iran group Kataib Hezbollah. The really interesting thing about that is that it's not just Iran, it appears, that the US or Israel are targeting. They're now targeting Iraq and Iranian proxies outside Iran. That's really interesting because it suggests that they want to also try to decapitate the Iranian militia outside Iran. We don't very often see that.
Always useful to remember, John, that explosions heard, as John's saying, I mean, we're getting these reports in from various sources, that explosions heard can mean either missiles landing on the ground or indeed missiles being intercepted.
In fact, most of them, I think, are being intercepted.
Because Iranians aren't white, therefore they shouldn't be allowed to be anything but the playthings of greater powers. You must be... Jinkler's a fucking retard. The Iranians are actually white, by the way. You must be spewing. The Iranians are Westerners, and they are waiting for liberation.
Of Iran's missiles are getting through the anti-air defence systems.
Okay, let's bring in and to join our conversation, former Middle East correspondent Ben Knight, who's travelled extensively in the Middle East, as have you, John. Hi there, Ben. Becoming a wider conflict, but it'll be interesting to see what some of these countries who have had missiles rain down on them do about it.
Well, yeah, as John points out, I mean, the nightmare scenario there is the ignition of a conflict between Sunni Islam and Shia Islam across the region. But I think a couple of things that have basically said struck me followed through. So you could forgive the Iranian people, as much as some of them may wish to do that, for being a bit sceptical that the forces would be there to back them up. The other thing about that is essentially for the United States, it has to rely on the Iranian people to do it because it can't commit ground forces. This war is going to be, from the United States point of view, essentially another air war with no boots on the ground, or at least that's the way that it looks at the moment. I think the other thing, if we talk about the end game, which Benjamin Netanyahu has talked about and which Donald Trump has talked about, if it is to reduce or eradicate Iran's capability of developing a nuclear weapon, they've talked about coming up with a nuclear deal. The negotiations that were going on, that were supposed to continue into next week between the United States and Iran, were about coming up with a so-called nuclear deal. It's really, really worth remembering that there was a nuclear deal and it was put in place under the presidency of Barack Obama in 2015, but it just wasn't just the US. It was Russia was involved in it. It was the European Union.
Oh shit! Oh fuck!
Germany,
Oh shit!
The UK. This coalition of powerful nations and organisations around the world put a deal in place that essentially and Iran agreed that Iran would not be able to enrich uranium inside its own borders.
Oh,
so
fuck.
Essentially send the uranium out. It would be enriched into fuel rods and sent back so that it could run its peaceful nuclear energy program and not turn it into weapons. It meant access for inspectors, and in return, Iran would get a lifting of the crippling sanctions. So that was in place from 2015. Donald Trump was elected in 2016. He said it was a terrible deal. He would scrap it. And when asked what would replace it, he said, we will come up with a better one. Well, that, of course, never happened. Now you have Donald Trump and the White House in negotiations with the Iranian, ostensibly to come up with a nuclear deal to replace the one that was scrapped in 2015, and we've got a war.
Ben, there seem to be two different dynamics happening right at the moment. There's obviously Israel and the United States attacking Iran, and then Iran is responding to that, but also it's the Sunni Shia long, historic division between those two, with Iran apparently having tried to hit and fired missiles towards Saudi Arabia, and all of the countries into which Iran is firing its missiles, which are, often being intercepted, are Sunni countries. And I suppose the question I would have for you, having lived in the Middle East for a long time, is there a danger that although it was initially Israel and the US versus Iran, that this could become a Sunni versus Shia war?
Absolutely. And as you point out, I mean, Iran has been on the outer, not just on the outer, but really a cold enemy of particularly Gulf countries for many, many years. There have been a couple of rapprochements.
As usual, complete retardation for the ABC. Yeah, it's just literally, this is just like pure Islamist agitprop, by the way. It's just pure anti-West agitprop. They hate America. They hate the West. They think it's really sad that this brutal dictatorship that hates us is being overthrown.
Over the years, but they don't last long, and the tension is always there and it's always simmering. And once you add, that element to it, it goes well beyond what the sorts of things that Donald Trump's talking about.
No, Vietron, it's not the case. Like, a democratic Iran will just lead to the reintroduction of the Khamenei regime. No, that is not the case at all.
Yeah, but it's also interesting to think about, how weak Iran and its Shia allies and proxies are at the moment. And I think that probably that's one of the reasons why you're seeing this happening at the moment. We know that Benjamin Netanyahu has been pushing American administrations to do pretty much this for years. Remember, he's Israel's, I think, longest.
No, there will be a democracy, but the overwhelming majority in Iran hate the regime. The overwhelming majority. So there's not going to be a reintroduction of the Khamenei regime.
Serving Prime Minister now. He's been doing this through American administrations for many, many years. And
ABC is just coping, saying, "Oh wow, it's Zog, it's Zionist occupied government." Actually disgusting cope. This is such a disgrace as an Australian to listen to our public broadcaster do this shit.
He really feels clearly that the moment is right for a couple of reasons. One is that Iran is weak, particularly after that 12-day war. Hezbollah has been very, very badly hit. The same with Hamas. The same in Syria. Iran essentially capitulated after that war. But you also have a window of opportunity that's closing in the United States with the midterm elections coming for Donald Trump, when he will potentially no longer control the White House, the House of Representatives and the Senate. So Donald Trump's ability as the US president to conduct this kind of operation is the clock is ticking on that one as well. So potentially that's why you're seeing this, but also, John, as you point out, because it's the second time that this has happened in 7 or 8 months, the retaliation is different. The retaliation certainly appears to be more widespread and more severe, and does go into that broader sectarian conflict, which is imminently more dangerous.
A couple of breaking news lines to bring our viewers, Ben. We're hearing that Donald Trump is most likely to address the nation tomorrow morning, American time. It's about 2:15 in the morning there at the moment, because what he's released so far has been recorded. So Trump is expected to address the nation again. And also Israeli officials saying, and this is one source, so it wouldn't come as any...
Can you explain how this helps Americans and Australians? Yeah, this is how it helps. We're part of the Western world, and the Iranian regime spent 50 years basically preaching death to America, death to the West. So we are fucking taking revenge.
Great surprise, but not confirmed, except for one source that the Reuters news agency is quoting, that Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei and Iran's president were both targeted in the US-Israeli attacks. The results of the strikes in which they were targeted is unclear at this stage, John. No great surprise in that.
No, that's right. And the other interesting thing to watch will be very closely will be China's role in all of this. If we have these increasing tensions,
the Iranian, by the way, the ABC news coverage is so shit. They're just doing the Homer Simpson reading The Economist thing, like, oh, Indonesia's at a crossroads. Like, oh wow, what if this reignites the sectarian conflict in the Middle East between the Saudis, between the Sunni and the Shia? Like, no, retards. The Iranian regime has 20% support within its own country. This is not going to be this mass mobilization Sunni v Shia sectarian war. Are you guys literally retarded?
Possible war within sectarian war between Shia and Sunni, Iran and Saudi Arabia, and the fact that Iran has apparently fired missiles into Riyadh is hugely significant. It was 2 years ago that China actually brokered a peace deal between Sunni and Shia. It's not the United States playing that role. Once upon a time, the United States would have been. The United States is no longer seen as independent. They are seen from the Gaza war and others as, we will support Israel whatever they do. Even when Joe Biden said that Israel was indiscriminately bombing Gaza, killing civilians, in other words, America kept supplying the bombs. So they're no longer seen as objective. But China was the country that brought together Saudi Arabia and Iran and essentially said, stop it, and had the clout to do that. So China will be watching this with great concern, because this also affects global trade, which China doesn't want. The other breaking news is that, according to Reuters, several senior Revolutionary Guard commanders and political officials have been killed in the US-Israeli strikes. That's an Iranian source saying that. And also that Iran's Supreme Leader, Khamenei, and Iran's President Pezeshkian were both targeted in the attacks. The results of those strikes are unclear. What that says is that, to me, the US and Israel want regime change. This is not about bombing nuclear facilities like last July. They want to kill the Iranian leadership. They want to kill the regime in Iran.
Ben, information comes out sporadically. We get more from Israel and its Western allies than we do from Iran. Of course, we remember as soon as a conflict like this starts, so does a propaganda war as well. I mean, what do you expect, or what does history tell us about what comes out of Iran at times like this?
Well, as you would expect, extremely tightly controlled. The internet we saw recently with the uprisings was essentially shut down, and the information comes from only one source, and that is the Iranian government. And that's I guess one of the other reasons why Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu talking about the Iranian people rising up and taking control of their own country is optimistic at best, I would say, because the resources are all in the hands of the Iranian regime. It's not just the information, but also all of the weapons, all of the power, all of the institutions. And while you might see, as we've just heard, some senior figures being killed, some institutions being attacked and being even destroyed, it's a very, very, very long way from a popular uprising taking control of those institutions. I think that is extremely unlikely to happen. And really, it's why when you look at this and say, what is the end game? And they're talking about regime change, it just doesn't seem feasible. You've also talked about the son of the former Shah, Reza Pahlavi, who's ready outside the country, ready to come in and take power. That's not regarded as being a particularly realistic.
This is like literally Al Jazeera level slop.
So,
this is disgusting.
What we
ABC News has completely fallen. This is the coverage that is going out to every single Australian news. This is the coverage going out to every single Australian household right now. It's actually disgusting.
In the 12-day war,
they're literally zog posting.
That 12.
They're literally zog posting. This is a quote. The United States is no longer seen as objective. It's seen as an appendage of Israel. China is watching this with great concern. Times at 8:18 p.m. AEST. That's the Australian public broadcaster. Coverage going out to every single Australian home. Full zog posting. That's actually disgusting. What the fuck is going on? Defund the ABC. Completely clear the house. It's been captured by apologists for Islamist terror and left-wing extremism.
12-day war in June. They wouldn't last long anyway. So no.
For the record, the mullahs are bad, but Trump is too stupid to do regime change properly. Here's $5. Go smash another cup. I'm not smashing the cup, but thank you for the $5. Very funny. Very funny. It's actually, holy shit, the ABC News is actually disgusting. Like, this is like the worst I've ever seen it. This is the worst I've ever seen it. Vietran, exactly, Vietran. So you're quoting a survey that basically said exactly what I said before, which is that only 20% of the population supports the Islamic regime. That's exactly what I said before. 20% of the population supports the Iranian regime. So I don't think that there's going to be this mass Sunni Shia sectarian mass conflict when 20% of the Iranian population supports the regime. I agree with environmental. This is when you get the unfiltered editorial opinions of the ABC journalists at their most raw. It's actually disgusting. Like, this is actually just disgusting. They're actually simping for the Iranian regime.
It's not like Iranians can rush into their basements because they live in multi-story apartment buildings. It's extremely dangerous.
Ben, thanks for now. Don't go anywhere, though. I just want to alert our viewers to the barcode on the screen there. If you want to keep across everything that's happening, just get that on your camera, on your phone, and it's our live blog, which has minute-by-minute analysis of what is going on and the latest pictures that are coming in to us. John Lyons here with me in the studio. Rocket attacks have targeted...
I can't stop him because I have a day of law teaching, but I will catch this up later. Love your streams and your Twitter feed, Drew. Free Iran. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. 10,000 people have watched the stream today. 10,000 in total. We've got 58 watching live now on YouTube, and we've got 9,000 in total who've been watching on Twitter. Obviously not 9,000 watching live on Twitter, but that's a total estimate. Yeah, of course I'm a partisan. I'm against the Islamic regime in Iran, which killed 30,000 people last month, and which has been arming the Russian regime to slaughter thousands upon thousands of Ukrainians for the past 4 years. The problem is the 70,000 police and the military that live comfortably under the mullahs. You can't tomahawk that many individuals, and the resistance isn't well armed. That's true. We need to start arming the resistance.
Targeted a US military base in Iraqi.
I don't think I said anything against Waldner.
What's happening right now?
I don't hate Waldner necessarily. I don't think I ever said that.
Now, there's Washington, Tehran, and Tel Aviv. And in Washington, in the United States, President Trump will be with his general...
I'd rather have cheap petrol personally. Yeah, there's going to be cheap petrol when we literally kill Khamenei. There's going to be very cheap petrol.
And Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, is...
Vietran, it's literally At the end of the day, 20% of the population in Iran support the regime. That is not enough for them to launch a massive World War III type war. They're not going to be able to sustain this with 20% of the population supporting the regime.
His major military advisor, and he'll have with him as well the Secretary of Defense, who now likes to call himself the Secretary of War, Peter Hegseth, and
they're seething so much. They're seething so much. The ABC is actually sick.
Importantly, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, who's also National Director of Intelligence. Donald Trump listens. Marco Rubio has probably become his closest confidant. The politics inside the US is a whole different story. Essentially, it looks like Donald Trump's pushing Marco Rubio as his successor over J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance will be in the room, but Donald Trump will be listening to General Kane and Marco Rubio primarily. In Iran, Tehran will be the wars being run by the IRGC commanders. The supreme leader, the equivalent of Donald Trump, will be nowhere to be seen. We'll have no communications. He's an endangered species. He would have been moved out of his compound well before. And then we go to Tel Aviv, where at the Curia, the building in Tel Aviv, in the center of Tel Aviv, will be the Israeli commanders who will be patched in to constant communications with General Kane and President Trump and obviously Prime Minister Netanyahu. Then they will have connections to both of those aircraft carriers, General Kane, the captain of the USS Abraham Lincoln, Captain Daniel Keeler, and the captain of the Gerald R. Ford, David Scarosi. So the two of them will be talking to General Kane. Donald Trump, the way he operates is he will want to be involved. He likes micromanaging everything, including wars, and he'll be sitting there and probably talking to these particular commanders on these aircraft carriers if he thinks fit. But at the end of the day, General Kane now becomes the most powerful official next to Donald Trump. He's now effectively the number two in the United States, and Donald Trump likes and respects him, and he does have credibility in the military. And in Iran, it's the IRGC have taken full control, not the supreme leader.
Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld couldn't stabilize Iraq, which led to ISIS and mindfucked a whole generation. Do you really think Trump, Rubio, and Hegseth are going to be better at this? Yes. Iran has basically existed as a coherent political entity for almost 5,000 years. So it is not going to collapse into civil war. Iran is a coherent geopolitical entity. Iraq was never a coherent geopolitical entity. It was obviously cleaved between the Sunni, the Shia, and also the Kurds in the north. Iraq was an appendage that was sort of stuck together by British and French diplomats during the Sykes-Picot period. Iraq was never a coherent geopolitical entity. And a lot of experts actually say that even if America had not gone into Iraq in 2003, they still say that there is a strong likelihood that Iraq would have collapsed into a civil war in the mid-2000s, regardless of what America did. So Iran is a much more stable geopolitical entity. It has a very high human capital population, a very smart population, a very educated population. This is not going to collapse into a civil war. Iran will see a brief decapitation of the regime, and there will be a great flourishing in the country as the Iranian people get to live under a real democratic system.
The nuclear threat. But Donald Trump has talked about it in more vague terms. He's talked about removing Iran's threat to United States.
I'm going to put on Fox News Live because, man, it's crazy. ABC News was literally like Iranian regime propaganda. Fox News Live. Okay, BBC.
And Chairman
BBC's
of
better.
the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, are monitoring Iran operations from Mar-a-Lago. That is, of course, Donald Trump's home in Florida. That's being reported by someone who is apparently familiar with the matter. We've also got reaction in from the EU's Ursula von der Leyen saying we call on all parties to exercise maximum restraints to protect civilians and to fully respect international law. We're also hearing that there have been several explosions heard in Abu Dhabi's near the city's main airport. Airspace has been closed across most of this region now, and travel obviously restricted. Yeah, the UK's Gatwick Airport has also reporting restriction.
Exactly, Jim Club. The foundations in Iran are so much more stable than the foundations in Iraq in 2003. So much more stable. Iran is an actual coherent country that has existed for 5,000 years.
in the Middle East, some flights to and from London may experience delays or cancellations. So, yeah, you can appreciate that as all of these countries are reacting around the world, flights being cancelled and rerouted by the moment. Well, let's speak to Dr. Badr Al Saif, an assistant professor at Kuwait University and the president of Al Saif Consulting, who's been hearing strikes. Welcome to you. Tell us what you've been hearing.
It's our worst nightmares come true in the Gulf, Samantha, where sirens are off in Kuwait. They've been going on at it for the past few hours. Our belief is that we've intercepted Iranian missiles for now, and we hope that we continue to do so in the coming hours and hopefully no more of this. I mean, it just tells you how high the threat perception of Iran is to begin by hitting their closest neighbors. Granted, they think that it's the US bases that they're hitting, but they're really hitting their neighbors. And those are Gulf neighbors that have been trying very hard to avert war. I mean, you saw the Omani foreign minister in the US yesterday and a few days before in Geneva. The same thing has been happening by other capitals in the region. So the Gulf states don't deserve such a predicament. I think they need to focus on US targets elsewhere if they were to go at that war. And, you know, it's a blow to diplomacy from all sides. This is happening as diplomacy was being pursued for the second time. The same thing happened last June in the middle of diplomatic talks. The US and Israel decided to strike. So it sends, a tough lesson for diplomacy and for watchers of diplomacy.
What's happening across Kuwait now? What's the government advising you? How are you feeling, you and your family?
I mean, look, streets are, it's the weekend. It's a long weekend. We just celebrated our National Day and Liberation Day in the past 2 days. So it's quiet because of that. But you can feel that it's even more quiet around us with the sirens off. People are bracing for the worst. We're confident that there will be measures taken to protect us. There hasn't been any casualties. We've heard of something in Jordan at the moment. So we're watching and comparing with other capitals that are being hit across the Gulf and in Jordan. And we just, we're praying for the best. Diplomacy needs to come back on track. This is not going to be solved by war, right? And the objective is not quite clear. It came out.
I just want to pause you there because there's been some reaction from Donald Trump, who's given an interview with the Washington Post. I just want to bring our viewers those lines. He has said that his main concern is freedom for the Iranian people and the US is working to make Iran a peace that is safe. He said, all I want is freedom for the people. He was asked about what he hoped his legacy would be as a result of the operation. He said, I want a safe nation, and that's what we are going to have. Doctor, let me ask you, you said that this is your worst nightmare. Donald Trump has said it's clear he wants regime change. Would regime change make the region a safer place?
Has regime change worked in the past with the other countries around us in the region? The regime change was a platform that he went into election against in the last two, election cycles. So regime change usually comes with it regime collapse. It comes chaos, fragmentation, spillovers to other countries. It's not a straightforward answer. So to move on from the very limited goal of blocking any ambitions for being a nuclear state to negotiating proxy actions by Iran to now going to the maximalist objective of regime change is quite something. And it speaks to the threat perceptions from both sides, the Iranians and the Americans, right? I mean, they're both going at it. And that's why you're seeing all these attacks at the different Gulf states, things that we haven't seen in the last showdown last June. So that says something about where we're headed. It's unclear. There is no clear trajectory. I think there will be much more chaos down the line.
Okay, Doctor, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for telling us what your experiences are and your analysis. And just also a report on the AFP news agency that fresh blasts have been heard in Abu Dhabi, according to residents who have spoken to that news agency.
Fresh blasts in Abu Dhabi.
Marianne now, who is a senior Iran analyst at Dawn, a foreign policy think
Iran attacked Qatar with another wave of ballistic missiles a few moments ago.
Good to speak to you. What's your
missiles were
analysis
reportedly
of
intercepted.
Donald Trump's objectives today?
President Trump, in his 8-minute
explosions
address,
reported in Riyadh.
He listed a long list of American grievances when it comes to the Iranian regime, from the revolution and chanting death to America, to the hostage crisis and holding American diplomats for 440 days in captivity, and then Iran's missile program, Iran's nuclear program, and at the end, the regime change that he promised. Basically, what he said was that Iranians for now go to their homes because there would be
Reports from Channel 12 indicate General Ali Shamkhani, a top aide to Ali Khamenei, may have been killed in the recent airstrikes.
Lay down their arms, because those who lay down their arms would be safe. But so anyways, in general, I think that he had a long list of objectives, and it was not very clear what was the exact the main objective, but it's definitely a framework for regime change. There's so much to be unfolded. It's a very vast, huge objective with a lot of unknowns. Right now in Tehran, I heard from people who heard bombings in different places, going back to their homes, and very much curious to see what unfolds next.
How vulnerable is the regime right now, given that its proxies across the Middle East are severely weakened after the last 2.5 years, given that there have been these mass protests last month across the country, which were brutally put down with many thousands killed, some reports of possibly tens of thousands. But there are clearly many people within the country who do want a change. How weakened do you think the leadership is?
The leadership in Iran is at its weakest position in the past few decades. As you mentioned, they have lost so much of their wings in the past 2 years in the region. Also militarily, when it comes to the US and Israel, they have a huge disadvantage. I think over the past few months, they have been bluffing about their military capacity and their power to retaliate when it comes to domestic.
Damn, I've got somebody who I actually know from Twitter. He's in a Tel Aviv bomb shelter right now. That's crazy.
Legitimacy crisis inside the country, particularly after the January massacre. The Iranian people.
I hope you're okay, Luke. Hope you're okay, man.
Iranian people do not want this government. They killed thousands of people, and many people inside the country were desperate to get help to somehow overcome the repression machinery. So that's why we are seeing scenes that are unprecedented in recent history. That
US official, the airstrikes will
be
hours for days, no casualties from strikes targeting US base in Bahrain.
Students in schools showing are happy.
Many sun crashing out Ben roads, weeping, Miley praying to
in the air of the attacks, and are happy about the attacks, or it shows that the frustration and the lack of legitimacy of the Iranian government, and how they made themselves so vulnerable when it comes to the Iranian people in a way that many people inside the country, they welcome any means to overcome the Islamic Republic. So yes, they have a very huge disadvantage militarily when it comes to the Iranian people domestically. They are very much in a very bad shape.
Ahmed, what's your analysis of what regime change may look like? Many analysts have suggested that what Donald Trump may be after is something similar to the situation in Venezuela, where he took out President Maduro, but left much of the leadership in place, giving them the ultimatum, you do as I say and you can stay, otherwise it's the same for you. Is that a possible scenario in Iran, where possibly the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, and the president are taken out, removed from the picture in some way, but the rest of the apparatus possibly stays in place with a maybe more moderate leader?
Yeah, as I said, there is so much unknowns in this operation. From what President Trump said, the scope of the operation, the military operation, is regime change. What they are wishing for is regime change. What they are doing is to dismantle Iran's political leadership and command control, the military, Iran's naval capacity and all that, and then provide a situation in which people, or we don't know, at some point other groups to come on to the streets, and somehow the military lay out their arms, and we have a collapse of the regime. But this is we have to see what's we don't know much about the endurance of the regime. We don't know how the regime has prepared for this situation, because in June 2025 the Iranian regime was caught by surprise. Right now I think for the past 8 months, they have been waiting for this moment. So there is much more readiness for this moment. We have to see how these attacks unfolds in the next few hours, next few days, and then the readiness of the Iranian regime. But regimes like the Islamic Republic are much weaker than what they project, so it might be. So we're going to see like the next few days. But I think it's anybody who predicts. Based on what President Trump said, that this is what they want, but whether they can achieve it, we have to see in the next few days.
Ahmed, I also want to ask you about any potential new leader. We've heard lots in recent months from the son of the late Shah, Reza Pahlavi, and possible support for him, but he hasn't lived in the country for more than 45 years. How much support do you think there is in Iran for him? And
We support them. We support them and defend them.
Who could people rally around in the form of a potential new leader?
As you mentioned, he has not been in the country for the past 47 years. And when the situation is very volatile and there's a chaos and there's a vacuum of power, then it really matters who's on the ground, who has the organization, who has the military and power and the network. And all those elements really matter when it comes to that very fragile moment. At this point, he has support definitely within Iran. He has a lot of support within Iran, but that support has to be translated to organization, to a movement that can take over institutions and claim victory. At this point, we don't know how much that is a feasible option and whether this is an option that the U.S. is going after. But we have to see how these forces come together in the next few days. Definitely, we have to see a fraction within the establishment in the next few days by dismantling the leadership or by removing some of these political leaders from the scene. There might be a vacuum in the power, and other people come to the scene. But in general, I would say we are in the very, very early stages of this conflict, and
I want to say this is disappointing by Rupert Lowe. I understand that they're very hostile to the Western elite that fucking destroyed the West over the past 20 years, but you can oppose the Western elite that crushed our countries and then still oppose the shithole dictatorships that are trying to kill us, okay? You can do both. You can just literally oppose infinity waves of third world migration while also at the same time overthrowing the Iranian regime. You can literally just do both, guys. Like, it's not either or.
That I think would be very significant. If there is a fracture, then that could escalate other developments.
Ahmed Mamarian, thank you very much for bringing us your analysis. Just some new lines coming in, reported on the Reuters news agency from Iran's IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard Corps there, saying that all Israel and US bases in the region have been struck by the powerful blows of Iranian missiles. They said this operation will continue relentlessly until the enemy is decisively defeated. Let's speak now to our correspondent, David Willis, who is in Washington. David, welcome to you. And Donald Trump has given a few comments to the Washington Post. Bring us up to date.
Yes, that's right, Samantha. A short while ago, he said that his main intention was freedom for the Iranian people, as he put it. And that was the intention with these strikes on Iran. But it is, of course, worth remembering that Donald Trump was elected on a promise to steer clear of so-called forever wars. He was critical of one of his Republican presidential predecessors, George W. Bush, for getting embroiled in the long-running conflict in Iraq. And indeed, the previous attack on Iran, Operation Midnight Hammer back in June, was much more of a surgical strike aimed at taking out 3 nuclear facilities in Iran. Well, now President Trump has put the United States into a position where it is involved in a massive and ongoing operation, as he put it, in that country. And also President Trump warning the American people of the possibility of US casualties. This, of course, all without any approval on the part of Congress. And we've already heard from the Republican Congressman Thomas Massey, who wrote on X, "Acts of war unauthorized by Congress," his characterization of the strikes on Iran that we've seen in the last few hours, Samantha.
And what reaction, how soon can we expect any reaction from Republicans, from Democrats, from the American people who, as you talked about, will no doubt not want to be drawn into a potential long-term conflict?
Well, the word of these strikes came about after 2 o'clock in the morning here in Washington, D.C. It's now, what, 5:42 in the morning. So Americans will be waking up in the next few hours to this news. And it has prompted reaction from some Republicans that is favorable to Donald Trump, although Lindsey Graham, the senator, also made the point in a long post on X as to the men and women participating in this operation for our country.
Third world to stop making British minority in Britain. That's literally what's wrong with that, Vietnam. Would you want the Vietnamese to be a minority in Vietnam? You wouldn't want that. So why should the British be a minority in Britain?
And the world a better and safer place. So reinforcing Donald Trump's suggestion that this is not potentially without American casualties. The Democrat Senator John Fetterman in the last hour or so coming to the support of Donald Trump, though, on this, saying that Mr. Trump has been willing to do what is right and necessary to produce real peace in the region. So it will be very interesting, Samantha, to see what other reaction we get, as I say, in the next hour or so as people here on the East Coast wake up to this news.
David, I know you'll keep us up to date for now. Thank you. Let's speak to Chatham House's Middle East Director, Sanam Vakil. Sanam, welcome to you. The US and Israel launch this attack on Iran, calling it a major combat operation. This comes after weeks of tensions in the region, a huge US military buildup. Was it, do you think, to some extent expected?
Yes, it was expected. I think that the Iranians were certainly negotiating in the hope of obtaining a deal, but certainly also preparing for this war. And we know this because their response has been rather quick. The strikes began this morning around the 6 o'clock hour here. And by 10 o'clock, the Iranians began striking back against Israel as well as U.S. military facilities across the Gulf. So
is there any truth to U.S. warships hit? No evidence of that whatsoever.
Plans to replace the chain of command.
Listen, guys, I've been streaming for about 3.5 hours. I'm going to break now. I'm gonna end the stream now, and if any further developments tonight take place, if it gets really big, if Khamenei gets killed, I might restart the stream. But until then, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to monitor the situation without being live. I want to thank everybody who's been watching. Thank you so much. Please make sure to leave a like. If you go to my YouTube channel, if you're watching on my Twitter, go to my YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 12,000 subscribers. It's on the way. Make sure to go like that, guys. Thank you so much. And God bless you all. Death to communism. Death to jihadism. Free Persia. The West will win. It's a beautiful day. God bless Donald Trump. God bless the United States of America. God bless the West. Thank you, guys. Signing out.